What you see right here is a native Power BI visual. It's a variance chart inspired by IBCS guidelines. It is fully created using Claude AI, using the Power BI report authoring skill. With the help of this chart, you can spot outliers and trends immediately, comparing actual versus the prior year. You can extend it to plan, to forecast, to anything that you like. The best part is you don't need to do it by hand, because this chart is a native visual, which is called the line and clustered column chart. And if you want to recreate it, you have to create up to 15 measures just to create it. Plus, there are countless settings involved. But we are not lazy. We don't want to be doing it by hand. We're just efficient, right? So we're going to teach Claude how to create this skill. And here are the steps you need to do. First, you need to download the Power BI report authoring skill. Then you need to save this report. If you want it, let me know in the comments and I will give it for you for free. Save it as a Power BI project file. And the final step is adjusting the skill file that you have just downloaded, right? You can use Claude or any other agent that you like, but you need to teach how the JSON code looks like inside of the Power BI project file. Once you do that, Claude knows how to build your report from scratch. You may need to iterate once or twice, but after a while, you will be able to create those visuals within a matter of minutes instead of hours. The beautiful thing is you can resize it in any way that you want. The layout is responsive. Only if you make the visual too small, it loses the visibility. You cannot really see all the measures and all the values anymore. So keep it slightly bigger, but everything is fully functional and interactive. Of course, we can choose the prior year, and then you see that we have deviations for all the month. If we just select 2026, we have no comparison for the actuals yet for September, October, November, December, which is why we are minus 100% in this case. Also, another example, it's also another native chart, is the horizontal axis, and we're using here the stacked bar chart. It's not a table, it is the same logic. We just need to create a few measures, and then Claude can create this bar chart for you as a deviation by month. So you easily spot trends like January or December, which were huge outliers, right? So again, if you like this video and if you want to learn how to create this Power BI report yourself using Claude, let me know in the comments below and I will share the Power BI project file with you so you can study it and improve your skill as well. I'm going to show you now a little trick how you actually can work with the Power BI authoring skill and how your skill file should be organized, or at least how I am doing it. So the basic skill file is very long, right? You have one big markdown file with all the best practices. Depending on what you actually want to create, there's a separate reference folder for it. So what I have created an IBCS folder, and I have created a template folder with the DAX measures that we need, right? What is it that we need? It depends always on your data set, and you need to tell Claude exactly which measure you want to compare. Do you want to compare a category or a monthly value? So you need to be precise here. But the important part is that you need to create this kind of reference folder. So you see this Power BI report authoring skill has a lot of markdown files about shapes, slicers, tables. These are basic, and you need to teach Claude what actually looks good. Those skills cover the basics, so you can create bar charts. But if you want anything fancier, or you want to have a nice formatted button slicer, I realize it is not possible to create. KPI cards having reference values in Power BI. So simple stuff, but it is not included in the report authoring skill by default. So find a report that you like, or even use your own examples and adjust the skill so you can create more and better visualizations. And of course, it depends on your setting, on your branding. If you want to include your brand guidelines, your colors, or if you want to adjust it for different clients, that's totally up to you. That's why I recommend you should download the skill from Microsoft. This is your starting point, your basis. And then you're going to, every day or every week, you're going to add more and more context to the skill file. So you can create a better skill over time. This is what I'm doing. And I'm also going to attach images to actually showcase how a button slicer, for example, should look like. For instance, this kind of button slicer with the highlighting and the accent bar was not possible by default. So I just, for remembering how it looks and what I mean by it, but also telling Claude how it should look like, is a really valuable feature. And if you're asking yourself, where can I get a Power BI report authoring skill? It's on GitHub. It is for free, released by Microsoft, and it's called Skills for Fabric. So it's not only Power BI skills, but also Fabric related skills. What you want to do once you're in the main page, you want to go to plugins, go to Power BI authoring skills, and then under skills, you find a few different skills. One is for report design, report management, report planning, and authoring for the semantic model. The way how I typically do it is I use the Power BI MCP server to create a dashboard from scratch using measures, relationships, tables, and coming up with dummy data. And then I use the Power BI report authoring skill on top to create the actual visuals, because the MCP server cannot create visuals. This is why you need the report skill. And this skill teaches you exactly, or it teaches Claude exactly what structure, what JSON code it needs for it to work, right? So if you look at the Power BI or PBIR file layout, which is the enhanced report format, you have a few different folders. You have a definition folder, you have pages. So each page gets its own JSON file and its own page ID. And for each page, you get different subfolders with visuals, and each of them containing JSON code. So you have a lot of subfolders actually having JSON or consisting out of JSON code. So it's a lot of text files, but this is very good for AI to work with. So it can clearly understand the structure of your report. And this is why it's being able to adjust your report, right? It's simply writing a new line of code or changing one line in the JSON code, and it will actually show on your Power BI report. It's a little bit crazy if you think about it, that you just need to edit some code and then something on Power BI desktop changes. But this is how it's working right now. And if you take a look at the Power BI project that I have saved, you have a IBCS demo file. This is the one you can download for free. It is only 1 kilobyte in size, and it has a report and a semantic model. The semantic model contains information about relationships, measures, stuff like this. If you open the report, you go to the definition tab. This is what I have showed you in the skill earlier. The definition contains all the information about the pages and the visuals and where they're saved on exactly which pixel, right? The height, the width, everything, the font. And you can see I have here now two visuals. I have two pages. One is called IBCS bar chart, the bar variance. The other one is called IBCS column variance. If you would do it yourself, you would probably get a long list of like digits and numbers, and you will not be able to see a proper name. This is what I taught Claude as well, to have it more descriptive. If you have a long report and you want to quickly find out what is actually the file name, what is the JSON code behind, it becomes much cleaner and much easier to see. As you can see here, I have the column variance and the bar variance. And this is what I have included here as well. We have the page. The page is just one information. I can open it later. The most important part is the visual part. And here we have the slicer for the year. And this is the entire code for, let's open it using Visual Studio. So this is the complete secret behind how this visual works. This visual is basically just text, but the text is very long and very, for humans, hard to read, but for a machine, it's really easy to work with. And this is where, whenever you say, okay, please change this or that, this is where Claude or your AI agent would go and change some things, right? So this is some variance here, negative. So it's a very, very long text for the bar chart. But this is basically how AI can read and work with your report and how the Power BI report modeling skill works. I hope this was helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I will do my best to address this. If you want me to go into a separate topic in more details and make a separate video about it, also let me know. Thank you for watching until the end, and see you in the next one.